All right, calling this meeting to order at 7:32 p.m. on October 20th, 2022. I want to start, let's start with the weather, and then I just want to make a few comments before we go to the building report, building administrator's report. So here's Keith.
Okay.
As always, he's coming over here.
Good evening to everyone. And I know everybody is enjoying this fine fall weather. It might be a bit interrupted the second half of the weekend by some rain as a storm system moves up the coast. But most of that appears now to be east of I-95, but if it moves a little further inland, we could get some rain here on Sunday. Next week looks to be a little bit less nice than this week, but warmer. Now, another thing that should be mentioned in the forecast is that the autumn foliage this year is probably going to be more brilliant than it's been in many, many years.
Sure
And Arthur's nodding his agreement and approval on that because all of the conditions have fallen into place with the cool nights, the sunny, mild days, the rain that we've had, to really make it a spectacular fall, not only for here, but even in the Northeast, in the New England states where it's been so dry this past summer. So you need to get out and enjoy the beautiful, dazzling, brilliant fall colors. And last but not least, I think that this is not going to be a mild, snowless winter. I think that this is going to be one of the toughest winters we've seen around here in quite some time, hoping that the village has a lot of snow shoveling money in their coffers. But I think it's going to start early. I think it's going to start in December, and it may continue late into March. So be prepared for that. But of course, the kids, now they can work from home. They don't have such a thing as a snow day anymore, but they ought to give them one or two anyway. So there's probably going to be quite a few of them.
We're going to ruin their childhoods. Miserable. Okay.
Anyway, enjoy the beautiful October and fall weather.
Yeah.
Great.
Can't beat it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Keith. So I just wanted to quickly say, just in a minute or less, I wanted to thank Martha Fessenden, who's our former assistant village manager, who has come in to help us out during these past few weeks and has been instrumental in keeping the lights on and everything moving as smoothly as possible. I want to thank Susan and Arthur for making sure this audit that we're going to be going through has run smoothly, and it took a lot of forensics here on site. And Susan and I, we've been office mates quite a bit the last few weeks. I want to thank...
And we haven't killed each other.
We did not. We had space.
That's a good thing.
I want to thank Katie for all her overall help and support, and also for her Halloween support, jumping into the deep end of the pool to help out. And our community engagement committee has been fantastic with unbelievable flyers that our street captains have been sending out to their homes. And then, of course, moral support from Jeff Blander from the African continent. I think he's back in the U.S., but he was too far away to come to the office, of course. And then, as always, our village crutch, also known as village attorney Ron Bolt, who's been there to help us as we're building this plane in midair, or whatever the term is. So I just wanted to express my gratitude because it's been a lot. Some of us have full-time jobs, have kids. It's a lot of work, and I just wanted to extend my appreciation for everyone's support here. And with that, I'm going to look here for Doug to unmute himself. There we go, for the building report.
Good evening. At 3506 Bradley, that house is a brand new house under construction. The building permit will expire on December 9th. Spoken to the applicant, and they've indicated they will be requesting a building permit extension. They're not going to be finished by December. At 3508 Bradley, the property owner submitted a building permit application to add a two-story addition at the rear of the house. The staff's completed their review and sent their comments over to the applicant's team, and we haven't received any new plans back. And also, we've heard that at 3504 Bradley, they will be coming in soon for a building permit. So that'll be 3 houses on the south side of Bradley, possibly under construction at the same time. At 162 Quincy, the homeowners built an 8-inch high retaining wall along the property line, and they will need to submit an application for a village right-of-way license agreement. At 3504 Shepherd, the homeowners submitted construction plans for an addition at the rear of the house. The applicant submitted a building permit application on Wednesday, so that's in addition to that item. And at 3404 Turner, that construction's been complete, and we're going to be releasing the building permit and refunding the bond. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you, Doug. Also, just regarding Bradley, we are putting up some no parking signs along the existing construction there. I think is it 3504? 06? Whichever it is, they're having trouble accessing the site, and we want to help them expedite this. Otherwise, there'll be, the 3 in a row there. It'll be very difficult. So I think Wayne and Doug have coordinated, and we'll try and find a way for homeowners that have driveways or we encourage them to use those driveways, and those that don't, we don't want to inconvenience them either. So we're working on that right now. Thank you very much, Doug.
Okay.
Okay. Opportunity for the council to hear from residents. So if you have something you'd like to add to this conversation, raise your hand, and I will ask you, there's Marty, I'm asking you to unmute.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody. I think Ron Bolt actually wanted to say something. Ron, did I see your hand up? I'm going to yield to you and then come back. Ron?
No, I'm good. I had a question on which property needed a right-of-way agreement, but I found it in Doug's written report. Thank you.
Oh, okay, wanted to make sure if you had a question, it got answered. I want to thank you for the leaf bags. I want to thank you even more for all the work that it's taken to run the office without a full-time staff, and I know you all have been really busy. I wanted to ask how many applications we got for the 2 jobs for candidates. How many people applied?
Well, I mean, the number it's a large number, but in terms of qualified applicants, it's not that.
But we have received some very
Yes.
qualified
Oh, absolutely.
applicant resumes. So
In terms of actual applicants that were qualified, we've interviewed some very qualified applicants. So we're in the process of deliberating, and we're actually going to motion to go into closed session after the meeting today to have that discussion. But those that we've invited in to interview have been top notch. But there were probably hundreds that came in, some via algorithm through some of these websites like Indeed that clearly didn't send them, but they just were forwarded there through this algorithm.
I'm glad we got a good response. That's encouraging.
Yep.
And thank you again for going through them all. I wondered if you wanted to have any community input on that. I mean, like we've got Jean Sperling, who was the village manager. If you wanted her to look at some resumes, I mean, I'm not volunteering, she's not even here tonight, but it occurs to me that we do have a number of residents who have a fair amount of experience running organizations, including village government. And anyway, I just thought, wondered if you wanted to actually reach out to the community in any sense, or just keep it within the council.
I mean, the community is welcome to provide any input on what they believe would make a great manager or assistant manager. I think the council has that ability as well, given our experience working on the council, being residents. But I encourage anyone to reach out to give us their top 3 must-haves in a manager or assistant manager. But we're not going to go out and solicit, I think, residents unless council members here want to do this, to solicit residents' opinions on what they would view as the perfect candidate. Anyone can chime in, but the council, I think, is doing quite well in identifying them.
and it is.
I'm
after
very
all,
glad
a
to hear that. And
responsibility.
again, if you wanted people to look at some of the resumes, again, I think there are a number of qualified residents who could give you a hand, but I'm confident that the five of you could do a good job of picking someone not only competent, but committed to transparency, committed to responsiveness. And I know you value the same things that I think so many of us do. So thank you for that. Also want to say thank you for the Halloween flyer, which I've been distributing as a street captain, and Vinny for putting that together. About 6 weeks ago, before he left, Niles told me that the village directory was going to the printer, or had just gone to the printer. And here we are 6 weeks later, and we haven't seen it. So wondering what's the status on the directory.
That's a great question. The directory actually was sent to the printer the weekend following Niles's departure, because there were tweaks that had to be made, so it wasn't sent 6 weeks ago. And I've had a back and forth with the printer because there needed to be some adjustments to the directory. And now it's just a matter of them confirming and confirming timing and all that. But unclear how quickly they will print, but the process is well underway.
That's great. Thank you. And again, the street captain. So that is something I appreciate you staying on top of. And thanks. That's it for now.
Okay, thank you. Any other residents? Okay. Next, we're going to go to committee updates. I don't know, Keith, if you want to talk Halloween party, if there's anything to add?
I don't think so. I think that, you've helped a great deal on this, Andrew. You really, some of these people that are on the committee, they've done a lot more than even I have with it, and they're on top of it. And
Yeah, this is
really-
Phil Hurst
Yeah, I
did
know.
this
Phil is-
design.
Phil is
Really
great.
cool.
Fantastic.
I wish Phil was here tonight. I
Yeah.
wish Paul was here tonight. I
Yep,
wish they were here with us in person, because they
Yep.
deserve all the kudos.
yep,
And you do too. So I thank you. I thank Marty for what she's done with distributing them, and we're excited about this year, right, Susan?
yeah.
Absolutely.
We
It's
got
gonna
a
be great
food
fun.
truck this year. We've got dessert truck, I guess ice cream truck.
And they confirmed that with me just this week, that they'll be here. The food,
Good
the
Humor?
Good Humor man will be here. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
and a new DJ. So a DJ who apparently has experience in engaging kids, and so it'll be a fun afternoon.
It's
Great.
up to me to make sure the weather's good on that day.
Well,
Week from Sunday.
you better. I don't know if we have I don't think we have a rain date. So, yeah. Okay. Let me see. Let's go. Oh, sorry, Marty. Yeah, Keith was just saying everything is running smoothly, and he's very pleased with the progress, and everything is running well. Marty said she couldn't hear you, so next time I'll ask you to come up here. Lori, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Oh. Try it again. There we go.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, I just want to give a quick update to what the Ethics Committee is up to. First, since Niles was unable to schedule volunteer orientation training prior to his departure, the Ethics Committee is in the process of reaching out to the village volunteers to offer standalone ethics training session. We understand from our council liaison, Susan Braddock, there, that the council is interested in attending ethics training as well. So we'll be working to try to schedule that shortly. Second, as prescribed by the village code, the Ethics Committee reviewed all village conflict of interest and oath of office forms. We're working with Susan to correct omissions and replace the missing forms. There's a couple of council members with missing forms. We're not sure if they were lost in the last minute shuffle with Niles' departure, but it's just a simple matter of replacing the forms and having them notarized. With Niles' departure, we also don't have a notary at this point. Finally, at our next meeting, the Ethics Committee will discuss whether the council should consider expanding the village ethics code to apply to all village volunteers. Ron has already provided the committee with the proposed language for a possible recommendation, which we'll publish for the public in a meeting packet prior to the December 5th meeting. As always, the committee invites all residents' comments to be submitted in writing prior to the meeting. And that's about it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Lori. Anyone have
Thank you.
questions for Lori? Okay. I don't see anyone from the election committee, so I don't know if the liaison has any updates.
Nothing doing
Okay.
officially.
Okay. All right, well, next on the agenda is the treasurer's report.
Okay, treasurer's report. I spent, I would say, most of yesterday. Where's the camera?
Okay, there we go.
Okay. I spent most of yesterday trying to get into our accounts on QuickBooks, working with several sequential chat bots. And by the end of the day, had done it, and I was able to look at our accounts. The problem was there has been no update to our accounts since last month. So we've been paying our bills. Some small amounts of revenues have been coming in. But essentially, things have not changed very much from last month. The one major thing to report is that most of our revenues will be coming in the end of November as property tax and income tax. So we will not know until November 30th, really, what our total annual flow from the income tax will be. We expect it to continue to be as high as it was last year. There's no reason why it shouldn't, except for the stock market collapse. So we'll know then. End of November, November 30th, the end of the month, we'll get our first big tranche from the state on the income tax. So stand by. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Arthur. All right, well, that takes us to the second opportunity to hear from our residents. Any residents would like to comment on anything that has been discussed or any issue they want to raise? If you'd like to unmute yourself, Marty. See? Yep.
Okay, yeah, a question for Arthur. Who's signing the checks in the meantime?
Every check requires two signatures. Right now, either mine and Andrew's, and we have been running around signing the checks, making sure that both get so that we get two signatures on them.
And that's no
That's
different.
consistent.
That's no different than
Right.
when we have a manager or assistant manager.
Right.
The two of us have to sign checks, and we also have,
Go.
without having to go into much detail, there's an electronic version of our bill paying mechanism that is in place, and that continues to be in place.
At Bill.com. So
Yeah.
we're doing that. We can do that remotely. And to deposit checks, it only takes one signature to do that. So we can take it over to the bank.
That's
and do
great.
that.
And
Yeah.
who's keeping records? Who's doing the bookkeeping? Is that you?
No one's doing the bookkeeping right now. It's accumulating. So at some point, we have a contract accountant who does like the cleaning up at the end of the month. But I think that they will have to be doing more routine work just to catch up. But we'll have to see what happens on that. So.
Yeah, thank you both, because the mechanics of the finances, I mean, I don't need to tell you, I'm preaching to the choir here about keeping that just really transparent and squeaky clean, of course. And so thank you for being very careful about the
And
financial
that's-
procedures. These transition areas are a difficult time for an organization. And it's not that anybody's trying to do anything wrong, it's just that stuff gets lost and falls through the cracks. So I thank you both for being very careful.
Yeah, I mean, I must say, bills thankfully have not fallen through the cracks, and that's the most important thing, to pay our vendors, contractors, etc. So we've been very, I think, successful at doing that, and we have this annual audit that, of course, if you want to talk transparency and the need to keep things transparent and on the up and up, that's one of the pressure points there every year as well. So that's something we're in the process of doing right now.
I also have one more thank you for you guys. I saw that you put the notice about the information for the housing construction plans out on the listserv to everybody, which was really great. In the past, sometimes the notice about the info session from a developer has only gone to the immediately adjacent households. And I really think I was very glad to see that you posted the announcement about the upcoming info session on October 25th on the constant contact, so that other residents who may be interested and may be affected by the construction can see it. And I would hope that the council would continue to do that. You know what I'm talking about there?
No. It's the information session was sent to Quincy Quincy residents, Quincy Street residents, not to the entire
No,
community.
I think the entire community got it.
They
They
did.
did?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Well,
I
I got
mean,
a copy of it over on Chestnut, and I was
Right.
grateful for that.
yeah.
because, you know, sometimes that can
Okay.
affect people who aren't just living immediately next door.
Yeah, I mean, the point of those, though, is I'm not going to chime in what's happening, your neighbor's home or construction. I think most importantly, I think Quincy Street residents want to be in the loop, and that's the goal for these meetings. So, but I'm glad you appreciate that, and it's all about transparency,
Inadvertent or not.
inadvertent or not, right?
Well, please keep it up. I thought it was a good
It's
improvement.
most fun.
Yeah, we like to stay on our toes a little bit and keep things interesting here.
Surprise ourselves.
Yeah, we definitely have. We thought we've mastered constant contacts. Anything else, Marty?
Hey, I'm wondering who's actually hosting the meeting. Who's our techie on this meeting?
So Doug is Doug and the homeowner or the builder. I think it's Doug for sure, and then the builder or homeowner I think will be there to answer questions for the residents.
And we can all come by Zoom?
It's by Zoom. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, before we adjourn, I think we have to
can I-
motion.
Yeah, well, I had a question.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
The survey, the annual survey. We have a draft that is semi-final. On the walk over here, some council members suggested there would be some additional edits that may be necessary. I spoke to Martha today. She is very familiar with the constant contact and getting it out, and she actually worked on it last year. And so Niles has suggested just using the template that was used last year, putting the new questions in place of the old ones and so on. So I'm going to be leaving tomorrow morning for 10 days, but we'll send around the draft that we have available right now for anyone who wants to make additional suggestions, corrections, or anything.
Okay.
And then I suggest we go with it.
We'll
And
work
I-
with Martha
And I suggested to Martha, I actually suggested to Niles before, that we do a trial run to the council members just to see, is it getting out? What does it look like? Do all the places that you answer yes or no or whatever work? Can we compile the results?
How
Take a
many
look
times
at
can
that.
we fill it out?
Right, how long does it take? And then after the trial run, do the final run if there's any corrections.
Okay.
So I will send out the latest
Yeah,
draft tonight.
and we'll work with Martha.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay, thank you.
Katie,
Oh,
Are
I
you-
can go
oh,
on my camera.
yeah.
If anyone can hear me.
can you hear Katie? Nod if you can. Speak.
Or if that's okay. I just really quickly, you started the meeting thanking all of us. I want to thank you on behalf of all of the residents. Really, for the residents out there and in attendance, between Andrew, Susan, and Arthur, the lights have stayed on, and they've done amazing work and put in amazing hours. And I just would like everyone to know that it is a period of transition, and I had no idea how much work and how interrupted a village manager's day can be. And I just wanted you all to know that everyone is doing their very best job, and I think everyone's doing a great job. And I just wanted to let you all know that.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Thanks, Katie.
Oh, thank
I think we've spent about an hour and a half on the phone with Home Depot just ordering leaf bags. So that alone has been
And
just
they
a
were
painful
delivered, and they were
experience.
wonderful.
got that.
Good
So-
job.
We still haven't corrected the what do you call it, the credit card problem yet.
Yeah, we'll get that.
Okay, well, thank you, Katie. Very kind, and everyone's pitched in as much as they could, and will continue until we have finalized the search. Now, just mechanically, before we adjourn, I have to entertain this motion. Correct, Ron? Okay. So the council will entertain a motion in an open session to go into closed session per the Open Meetings Act, Maryland Code General Provisions, Article Section 3-305. B1 to discuss personnel matters that affect one or more specific individuals employed by the village. I make this motion for us to go into closed session. Is there a second?
I will second.
Okay. All members in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay.
And Jack.
All right. The motion passes, and we're now formally adjourned at 7:57. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Ron, do you stay on for this, or you don't have to, right?
If you need me.
Thank you,
I
everyone.
don't think so. No. Thank you for your
Make sure
time.
Jeff's on.
All right.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Okay.
Turn off the
The
recorder.
only thing, if
So-
Andrew, I'm
So-
Andrew, I'm
So-
Andrew, I'm
So